Hello everyone, today we're going to make tart dough. Short crust tart dough is one of my favorite things, and there's a super easy way to make it. No excuse not to make your own tart dough. So what are we going to do? Well, it's basically a combination of flour, butter and an egg and a little bit of salt. And this dough is so versatile, you can use it to make tons and tons of things. You can use it to make a quiche, you can use it to make an onion tart, you can use it to make apple tart. One of the first dishes that I learned how to make, and this is the dough that launched my tart making. So here we go. I like to make it in a food processor, really easy, and you can do this by hand. And if you were doing it by hand, then I would mix the butter into the flour into a larger bowl than this and make it so it looked like coarse breadcrumbs with a pinch of salt and the egg. But you can do the entire thing in a food processor and it takes about a minute and a half, maybe. So this is 9 ounces of flour. Yes, please weigh it. Baking is a somewhat precise art. And I use one of these fantastic scales. Actually, before I pop this in here, quick note about the scales. These scales zero things out. So you can put this on the scale, press the button, and then if you add another ingredient, you can zero it out. So it brings the weight back to zero. So you know exactly how much you've put into this. All right, to make the dough. So here we go. 9 ounces into a food processor fitted with a metal blade. And this is 5.5 ounces of butter. You want the butter to be cold, and then just chop it up into sort of little chunks. I know it's all going to get chopped up in the food processor, but this just helps things along a bit. Okay, we'll do that. 1 egg. Just crack the egg straight into the food processor, like so. And I add a little pinch of salt. I think you need a little pinch of salt for this. Okay, there we go, little pinch of salt. If you were making a sweet version of this, you could add a spoonful, 1 tablespoonful of sugar, caster sugar in here. And then if you're doing a savory version, another dimension to this, you could add lemon zest to it or some herbs. I like adding that into the tart dough. It adds another nice little flavor, a little surprise in the dough. Okay, pop the lid on. And then we're just going to run this pulses until it turns into breadcrumbs a few times. Let's have a look here. You'll see it starts to look like coarse meal. And then you're going to run this a few more times, let the motor run a little longer, and you'll see the dough start to come together in the bowl of the food processor and clump. And you don't want to run it too long. You don't want to overwork the dough. There you go. As soon as it starts to come together, stop the motor. And this is what it looks like. It's wonderful. Just this really easy dough to use. Now, one word of caution. When you're taking the dough out of the food processor, be careful of the metal blade when you take it out so that you don't hurt yourself. And then I just bring the dough together like this. And this has to rest for about 20 minutes before you use it. You can make the dough the day ahead. It'll be quite hard when you take it out of the fridge, so you'll need to leave it at room temperature for at least half an hour to 45 minutes, depending on the ambient temperature, to bring the dough back to malleable consistency. So here it is, very simple short crust dough. Have fun baking. Next week, we're going to use this version of this to make apple tart. I'll see you then. Don't forget to subscribe. Bye.